Good day, everyone. Today, we'll be going through the whistleblower policy of PMW Group of Companies. This is a very important policy designed to protect both the company and all of us as employees. It ensures that if we see something wrong, we have a safe and proper way to raise it without fear of retaliation. What is whistleblowing? Whistleblowing simply means speaking up when you see something wrong happening in the company. It is an avenue provided by law and by our company policy that allows both employees and even external parties to raise concerns about the company's affairs. The key point is that it can be done without fear of retaliation, as long as it is done in good faith and under the conditions outlined in the policy. The purpose of this policy is to create a culture of integrity and transparency. We want everyone, from management to employees, to act honestly and in compliance with laws, regulations, and our code of ethics. It also helps us foster a safe and ethical workplace where wrongdoing is not tolerated. Importantly, it encourages reporting of unethical practices, provides clear reporting procedures, and ensures prompt action is taken. Most importantly, it protects whistleblowers from any negative consequences. The scope of this policy. 1. Who may use this policy? This policy applies across the PMW Group of Companies. It covers all employees, directors, and even business associates. Basically, anyone connected to our operations is included under this policy. 2. What can be reported? Accounting or auditing issues, internal controls or disclosure matters, conflicts of interest or insider trading, collusion with competitors, serious breaches of the policy, unsafe work practices, fraud, corruption, or misconduct by directors or employees. 3. Safe reporting environment. Whistleblowers can report to the Integrity Committee without fear of retaliation, discrimination, or adverse consequences. 4. Group's response to reports. Appropriate actions, such as disciplinary measures or termination, will be taken against those responsible for misconduct. 5. Prohibition of false complaints. Frivolous, bogus complaints are not allowed. 6. Exclusion of personal grievances. This policy is not for personal grievances, which should be addressed directly with the relevant department or division head. We provide a few ways for disclosures to be made. The preferred method is in writing, as it gives clarity and proper documentation. If that's not possible, disclosures can also be made in person or over the phone. For reporting, the main contact is through email at integritycommittee@pmw-industries.com. You can also reach out to Mr. Lee Han Hua, Chairman of the Compliance and Integrity Committee, or his delegate at 05-322-4690, extension 108. What exactly should we report? Examples include theft, negligence causing substantial and specific danger to public health and safety, misuse of authority or company's powers fraudulent, including financial fraud and accounting fraud. Corruption includes giving or receiving a bribe and giving or receiving personal advantage. Any unlawful act, whether criminal/civil, bullying or harassment, conflict of interest, involve a misuse of sensitive or confidential information or a miscarriage or denial, wastage/misappropriation of company funds/assets, breach of company code of conduct or policy or failure to implement or comply with any approved company policy. In simple terms, anything that is unethical, illegal, or against company values should be reported. Next, we will see what is not whistleblowing. Not every complaint is considered whistleblowing. Things like questioning business decisions, personal workplace grievances, administrative complaints, work stress, or simply sharing frustrations on social media. These are not whistleblowing matters. Whistleblowing is about exposing wrongdoing that affects the company or others in a serious way, not about personal disagreements or dissatisfaction. How is a report handled and investigated? All reportable conduct will be investigated to the extent deemed appropriate by the group. All employees of the group will be required to assist the chairman to the maximum possible extent. Compliance/integrity officer. Determine if a WB is an ethical and compliance-related or grievances. Respond to the complainant that their report was received and will be investigated. Shall determine the manner and method of all investigations, including consideration of whether to utilize internal and external resources as appropriate, and the allocation of responsibilities under the investigation and the method and timeline of reporting back to the committee and, if appropriate, the board on the outcomes of the investigation. Maintain confidentiality of the reporter and witnesses. Investigate, document, and maintain updated status in investigation. Monitor implementation of any remediation actions. Close out the matter with the complainant. Report the WB and outcome of the investigation to Compliance and Integrity Committee. Conclusion of investigation. If a violation is confirmed, the group will take appropriate remedial action based on the severity of the offense. Recourse for whistleblowers. If unsatisfied with the response, WBs may escalate the matter to the chairman of the board with your reasons. Recommendations for change. Investigators will suggest measures to prevent recurrence of malpractice or impropriety. Implementation responsibility. The Human Resources Department will review and implement recommendations and report necessary changes to the main board. Safeguards to whistleblowers. Confidentiality of whistleblower. Protection from retaliation. One of the most important parts of this policy is the protection for whistleblowers. Anyone who raises a concern in good faith will not face retaliation. Retaliation includes discrimination, harassment, or any negative treatment. The company does not tolerate harassment or victimization of anyone who reports a genuine concern. Even if the report turns out not to be proven, as long as it was made sincerely and in good faith, the whistleblower is protected. Criteria for protection. To be protected, reports must meet certain criteria. They must be made in good faith. They must be based on reasonable belief or suspicion. The whistleblower should not be personally involved in the wrongdoing. The report must not be made for personal gain. If someone abuses this policy, for example, by maliciously making a false allegation, they may face disciplinary action up to dismissal. Now that we have completed the briefing on the whistleblower policy, we will proceed with a short post-assessment. The purpose of this quiz is to reinforce your awareness and ensure everyone understands the key elements of the policy, including its purpose, scope, reporting channels, safeguards, responsibilities, and the consequences of misuse. The assessment consists of 10 multiple-choice questions, with one correct answer for each. To demonstrate sufficient understanding, you must achieve at least 80%, 8 out of 10 questions correct.